Most people nearing retirement compare their savings to the magic number they see in headline figures like 1.26 million. But this single comparison could leave some of them $400,000 short of their actual needs, and here's why. My name is Patrick Shope, and I'm the founder of Shope Financial, where we help retirees and those nearing retirement navigate challenges just like this. Today, I'm going to walk you through why the retirement savings numbers you see in headlines might be steering you in the wrong direction, and more importantly, how to calculate what you might actually need for your specific situation. If you're watching this, you're likely someone who takes retirement planning very seriously, which puts you ahead of most Americans already. By the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why comparing yourself to others can be misleading, and you'll have a simple framework to determine your personalized savings target. Now, before I show you any retirement savings data, there's one crucial concept that changes everything: the difference between average and median. Think about home prices in a typical neighborhood. Let's say that there's 9 homes that sold for around 300,000 each, but there's one mansion that sold for about $3 million. The average sale price would be $570,000, but the median, the middle number, would be $300,000. Which number better represents what most homes actually sold for in that area? But here's what really matters, and this is where most people make their biggest mistake. Which number are you using to judge your own progress? When financial headlines shout that the average balance is high, remember that averages get skewed upward by a small percentage of ultra high savers. For Americans aged 55 to 64 who have retirement accounts, the median balance is about 185,000, while the mean's about $537,560. The median better represents where the typical saver actually is. That's not a typo. Half of Americans in their prime earning years have less than $185,000 saved. If you've got more than that, you're already ahead of millions of your peers. But if you're comparing yourself to a headline average, you might be panicking unnecessarily. Now, here's the uncomfortable truth that most financial advisors won't tell you. If you're 55 or older, you have maybe 10 to 15 prime earning years left. That window is closing fast, and every year you spend chasing someone else's number instead of your own target is a year you can't get back. This is where most retirement advice completely misses the mark. Those generic rules like, you need $1 million to retire, ignoring your actual life. A couple spending $50,000 annually has completely different needs than someone spending $100,000, regardless of what any statistical averages say. But here's where it gets really interesting. Let me walk you through an example that shows how this works in practice, and the results might surprise you. Meet Tom and Linda, both 59 years old. They currently spend about $75,000 per year and are panicking because they've only saved $850,000, well below that 1.26 million average they keep seeing in articles. Here's the reality: they expect to need roughly 80% of their current spending in retirement, so it's about $60,000 annually. Their combined Social Security benefits will provide approximately $42,000 per year if they wait until full retirement age. This leaves them with an income gap of just $18,000 annually that needs to come from their savings. Now, here's where the math gets really interesting. Using the 4% withdrawal rate rule, based on William Bennigan's 1994 research and then later supported by Trinity study, they'd need $450,000 saved to generate that $18,000 annually. They have about $850,000. They're not behind. They're actually in great shape and could potentially retire earlier than planned. But what if Tom and Linda had gotten caught up in that $1.26 million average and decided they needed to work 5 more years to reach it? Here's the kicker: they'd be giving up 5 years of retirement they could afford, all because they were comparing themselves to a statistical average that had nothing to do with their actual needs. Or maybe they're comfortable with a slightly higher withdrawal rate of 4.5%, which would drop their target to just 400,000. With $850,000 saved, they have built a substantial cushion for market volatility and unexpected expenses. The point is, when you're working with your real numbers instead of statistical averages, you can make informed decisions about your timeline and options. But there's something else most people overlook, and I'll get to that in just a moment. Before we go further, if you're finding this approach helpful, please hit that like and subscribe button. It genuinely helps us reach more pre retirees who need this type of clarity. Here's what I see happening with too many people approaching retirement, and this pattern repeats itself over and over again. They get paralyzed by comparisons to others instead of focusing on their own situation. They either work longer than necessary because they think they need some magic $1 million number, or they retire unprepared because they assume average savings are sufficient. Neither approach serves you well. Your retirement isn't average, it's yours. If you're discovering you need to save more, that's valuable information. If you're realizing you might already have enough, that's equally valuable. Either way, you're now working with real data instead of guesswork. And here's something most financial content won't tell you. This is the part that really matters. The families we work with who have the most successful retirements aren't necessarily the ones with the most money. They're the ones who understand their numbers and make decisions based on their actual needs, not someone else's situation. Now, here's the urgency factor most people don't consider. The window for meaningful course corrections is still open if you're in your 50s or even your early 60s, but it won't be forever. Every year you wait to get clarity on your real target is just another year of potential missed opportunities, whether that's optimizing your savings strategy, adjusting your retirement timeline, or simply aiming to gain the peace of mind that comes from knowing where you stand. The most important takeaway here is this: stop comparing yourself to statistical averages that may have nothing to do with your life. Focus on what you need, when you need it, and what adjustments might help you get there. So, if you want to dive deeper into the specific strategies we use with our clients to reassess their retirement timeline and tax efficiency, I'd encourage you to sign up for our newsletter, where we share the exact approaches that we help many families transition confidently into retirement. This is Patrick Shope, wishing you a stress-free and prosperous retirement. I'll see you in the next video on Thursday.